Remember that we are learning to plan and interact, watch, respond, reflect. This approach helps create opportunities for children to use communication and for caregivers to notice communication and respond. You have already learned so much about choosing times to practice, planning, interacting, and watching for communication. You also learned about responding, which means repeating what your child communicated or said and adding a word or two. Repeat and add. Responding is about giving your child positive reinforcement for communicating with you so they want to keep communicating with you. Responding is also about showing them how to keep growing their language skills. In today's group, we will spend more time talking about tips for responding before finishing on reflection next time. Make sure to have your handout ready to follow along. Let's review how we respond by repeating and adding. To be most helpful, your response to your child's communication should repeat and add by repeating your child's communication and adding 1 or 2 words. This helps the child advance language skills. For example, if you watch your child use a gesture, respond by repeating the gesture and adding a word reflecting what your child might say if they could. If you watch your child use sounds, respond with a word reflecting what the child might say if they could. If you watch your child use a word, respond with a 2-word phrase by using the word they used and adding a new one. If you watch your child use a 2-word phrase, respond with a 3 or 4-word phrase by repeating their 2-word phrase and adding 1 or 2 new words, making sure you are saying the words or sentence the way you want your child to say them in the future. You are already doing a great job just by practicing with your child. They are benefiting so much from you taking the time to focus on their language development. Let's learn some extra tips about creating opportunities for your child to communicate and responding to your child's communication. Practice times as conversations. It can be helpful to begin piecing together plan and interact, watch, and respond by thinking of practice times as conversations. Conversations are like passing a ball back and forth. Sometimes you pass or start the conversation, and sometimes it's nice for your child to pass the ball to you first. Give your child as many opportunities as possible to pass the ball to you. Your job is to create opportunities for your child to communicate, plan and interact, and then wait for your child to take advantage of those opportunities. Watch. Your job is not to make your child communicate. It's your role as a caregiver to make it so interesting and fun to communicate that your children want to do or say something to communicate with you. Focus on creating opportunities and celebrating when your child does communicate, rather than correcting communication attempts. As humans, we learn best when we are rewarded for things we do well. Your positive and encouraging response is the best reward your child could ask for. Respond, repeat, and add, but never force communication. Your child will advance through communication stages as their brain develops through rewarding social interactions with you. They are never doing less than they did yesterday on purpose. Yesterday or this morning, your child talked in sentences, but today it's just 1 word at a time. Yesterday, your child talked all day, but today they are fussier and using only gestures. No matter how they are communicating, during your practice times, you can respond by repeating their communication and adding something. Take your time. Some children need lots of time to communicate. Waiting while still being with your child can help them learn how to communicate and start an interaction with you and with others. It's all good. All kinds of communication are good communication, even if they might be communicating with big feelings. Sometimes it's language. Other times it's tears, eye contact, or gestures. Children are always trying to tell us something if we are patient enough to notice. Use a balance of comments and questions. Sometimes questions can give your child an opportunity to communicate, but sometimes using too many questions can make it hard for your child to know how to communicate. One way you can notice whether you might be asking your child too many questions is to try practicing commenting without asking questions. If the only things that come to mind are questions, it might be good to keep challenging yourself to comment. Just like having a conversation with another adult, a combination of comments and questions can keep communication simple and engaging. These tips help make sure that the practice time is a balanced conversation between you and your child. Different needs for different children. Some children are just beginning to communicate. For those children, focusing on plan and interact strategies that provide opportunities for your child to communicate are the best place to start. For other children who are already communicating many times when they interact with you, you may be able to use plan and interact strategies less often and instead focus on watching for their communication and responding with a model of the next level of communication. However, it's never going to hurt to use the plan and interact strategies, especially if it helps you spend intentional time interacting with your child. Pause the video here and talk with your group about the questions on your handout. In this video of a caregiver-child interaction, you will be looking for ways the caregiver responds to their child's communication. As a reminder, we are practicing with praise. That means noticing all the things a caregiver did well. When we practice with praise with others, it can remind you to use self-encouragement because the most important thing is to keep practicing and doing your best. Let's look at some examples of caregivers responding to their child's communication attempts. As you observe, notice how caregivers respond to their child's communication by adding a word or two and without forcing their child to answer questions or imitate.
Mommy's hat. Head. On my head. Sock off. Sock off. You want sock off? Sock off. Sock on. Oh, there you go. Hey, Evelyn. Yeah. That's funny. Mommy's hat. Head. On my head. Sock off. Sock off. You want sock off? Sock off. Sock on. Oh, there you go. Hey, Evelyn. Yeah. That's funny.
This caregiver looks like they were feeling good about the interaction. They are putting the cue card in an easy place to find to remind them to use the strategy again for the next practice time. Pause here and talk with your group about what went well in this interaction. Today you learned some important tips to add to the previous group. Today we focused on tips that help you respond to your child's communication. Importantly, our responses add a word or two, but never force the child to imitate what we are saying or doing. Instead, we create interesting moments of communication and let the child communicate, even through small moments of eye gestures, pointing, or vocalizations. Next time, we will discuss the last step after plan and interact, watch, respond, which is to reflect. Be sure to review your take-home activity and complete the reflection about what went well today and how this group could be improved in the future.